The thing is, you cannot please someone who's emotionally unavailable. You can climb into the heavens and bring down the moon for them. They will not be happy with it. They'll probably say, "You should have brought me the sun." Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mel. To the new and returning subscribers, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's always lovely to see you, and thank you so much for your support. If you're new around here, by all means, please look around, check out the other videos on the channel, and if you enjoy the content, click the subscribe button below and join the family. Today we're going to be discussing how to spot an emotionally unavailable partner. I know that the term emotional unavailability is something that has been getting thrown around a lot lately, but what does it actually mean? Is the inconsistency you're experiencing with your partner a result of them being emotionally unavailable or just plain disinterested? That's a tricky point, isn't it? So today's video, I hope to clear muddy waters by helping you recognize some key signs that actually mean that someone is emotionally unavailable. Because let's be honest, dealing with someone who is on the fence is a guaranteed crazy maker, and it will make you hella insecure when all is said and done. So stay tuned, let's get started. First and foremost, let us talk about what it means for someone to be emotionally unavailable. More often than not, such a person is unable or unwilling to talk about their emotions or the relationship. They cannot be vulnerable. This individual is usually very evasive and cannot show up for you in the way that you expect your partner to show up for you. So when someone doesn't show up for you, the outcome of their emotional unavailability is that it leaves you feeling alone in the relationship, rejected, neglected, unseen, unheard, depressed, and at a place where you don't feel secure or safe within the relationship. So what are the signs to look out for pertaining to an emotionally unavailable person? 1, they have a lot of trust issues. According to science, all chemical reactions require energy. This means to create or break a bond, you require energy. It's the same thing with a relationship. To create a bond, you require some measure of trust. You cannot have love without trust. So if your partner thinks the worst of everyone, you included, despite your best efforts to prove to them how trustworthy you are, chances are that they are emotionally unavailable. What happens with a person who is emotionally unavailable and they have trust issues is that they cannot open up, they cannot tolerate closeness, and they will be very secretive. And this will definitely drive you up the wall in the long run. 2, if you find yourself doing all of the heavy lifting in a relationship, chances are that you're dealing with an emotionally unavailable partner. In a relationship, there has to be some balance. It won't always be 50-50, but there has to be reciprocity. So if you find yourself always being the first person to initiate contact, first to call, first to text, and you're the one person who's creating all the plans, trying to figure out when you guys can hang out and so forth, and during situations where there's conflict, you're the one who's always bringing up the difficult conversation, so you fix things, then my friend, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you are dealing with someone who is emotionally absent. So you might find yourself feeling like if you don't get it done, it will not get done. That's the truth of the matter, because an emotionally unavailable partner doesn't feel the motivation to go the extra mile. 3, if your partner does not communicate consistently, chances are that they're emotionally unavailable. Let me start this point off by saying that we all have lives to live, things to do, places to go, yada yada. However, when you care about someone or you're connected with someone, regardless of how busy you are, you will make time, even if it's just for a quick text, to check on them. That's how it works in a normal and healthy relationship. However, on the flip side, someone who doesn't want to connect, someone who is not immersed in your life, they will not put in the effort to check on you. They can go for days, weeks without talking to you, and they often use the cheap excuse of being busy. And if you stop and you honestly ask yourself, is anyone really that busy? It doesn't make sense, right? Because they obviously had time to eat, to rest, watch some TV, go to the bathroom. They could have spared a minute or two in between the activities. So essentially, if your partner is treating you in such a manner, they're communicating that they don't care about you, that they've got other things they'd rather be doing, and they're not available to grow or make a connection with you, run. 4, emotionally unavailable people avoid labels. If your partner doesn't want to label the relationship or take the relationship to the next level, chances are that they've got issues with commitment and intimacy. And this will hinder the relationship from developing or growing organically. It will stunt the connection that you have. So if you find yourself dealing with someone who doesn't like labels, or wants to go with the flow, but at the same time, they want the benefits that come with the relationship, run. This person is going to waste your time because they are not available. 5, emotionally unavailable people cannot compromise. It's either their way or the highway. If you find yourself dealing with a partner who wants everything done their way, on their schedule, on their whim, on their preference, then Houston, we've got a problem. And you may need to re-examine the relationship. Such a person lacks the emotional depth to understand that a relationship is a two-way street. It's a give and get. If you find yourself constantly having to bend over backwards to please this person and they're unwilling to meet you halfway, chances are that this person is not for you. They like the convenience of having you around, but do not want to put in the sacrifice of keeping you around. 6, emotionally unavailable people do not want anything to do with commitment. They will keep conversation at surface level and will refuse to go deeper. So if you find yourself dealing with a partner who avoids commitment, who avoids conversations about the future or taking the relationship to another level, it's not a good sign. If your partner gets skittish and they change the subject when you bring up something that is important to you, a conversation that will cause you to draw closer or to resolve issues, then they're emotionally unavailable because they are not willing to be vulnerable. I want to say this. Don't get sucked into thinking that if you work a little bit harder, then this person will open up to you. You will get yourself stuck in a vicious cycle if you hold on to such detrimental thought patterns. The thing is, people change when they want to change. And there's some work that you cannot do for your partner that they need to do for themselves. If they're not willing to knock down the walls, if they're not willing to climb out of their ivory tower, you cannot make them. You cannot love them into opening up. So just stop casting your pearls in front of swine. Stop wasting your precious energy, your emotional resources on someone who will not appreciate it. 7, emotionally unavailable people are very nitpicky. Do you have a partner who makes you feel pressure to be perfect? Pressure to be like this morally pure being, yet at the same time you're supposed to be sexy, interesting, exciting, darling. Oh yes, and super chill too, so zen that you're okay with everything. Yeah? That is exhausting. No person can be all those things. You cannot please someone who's emotionally unavailable. You can climb into the heavens and bring down the moon for them. They will not be happy with it. They'll probably say, you should have brought me the sun. So what an emotionally unavailable person does in a relationship is that they are going to latch onto the teeny tiniest negative traits that you have and use that as an excuse to treat you poorly or to leave you or to not commit to you. You just have to remember that it's not a you thing, that it's a them thing. 8. Emotionally unavailable people blow hot and cold. I think of all of the signs, this one is the most damaging. This person doesn't really want to go and they don't really want to stay. When a person is hot and cold, it creates a very toxic environment within the relationship. Because someone cannot oscillate from being extremely hot to turning cold in the next second, treating you like something stuck under their shoe. It will damage you. It creates so much damage, and it will leave you feeling insecure, needy, conflicted, unsafe. It will make you second guess yourself and your worth. So I've got a whole video on hot and cold behavior. I'm going to link it in the description box below. 9. An emotionally unavailable partner doesn't know what they want. They are the kings and queens of selling dreams. They will go from wanting to get married one day, and they'll tell you, I want to get married, especially at the beginning of the relationship. Oh, I want this. They will want the same things that you want. Then they will just flip over and want the opposite. Suddenly, I don't want to get married. I don't want to have children. I don't want... And you're left confused because you articulated your needs at the beginning and they articulated what you thought were their needs. Look, let me read this so I don't mess it up. If you can't get a clear answer on what your partner wants or needs from the relationship and they're unwilling to be vulnerable, leaving you feeling like you're walking on eggshells, then chances are you're dealing with an emotionally unavailable person. 10. The emotionally unavailable partner doesn't want to get engulfed by the relationship. And this is a common trait amongst people who have the avoidant attachment style. I've got a video on that as well. I'm going to link it in the description box below. These are the sort of people who create a push-pull dynamic in a relationship, which is very unhealthy. The minute you try to get close to them, they back off because they fear that you'll engulf them, you'll consume them, and they'll lose themselves in the relationship. But then when you back off, they might inch a little bit close to you. But that's not a healthy relationship. In a relationship, partners should be moving towards each other, not always push, pull. That will make you crazy. It will trigger all of your anxieties, all of your worst insecurities will just bubble to the surface because someone is playing a push and pull cat and mouse game with you. You just have to understand that if you come across someone like this, unless they're willing to change, they are never going to commit to you. They might talk a good game, they might make promises, but half the time they're going to bail on you. They're not going to see their word through. So just be careful. Just be very careful of a partner who needs an abnormal amount of space in the relationship. Of course, don't get me wrong. In a relationship, every partner needs space. But too much independence and too much neediness or clinginess is not good. Both extremes are bad. There should be a happy middle where you both need each other and are both able to function apart from each other. With that said, we have come to the end of our video. I hope that you enjoyed it and you have learned something. If you find yourself in a situationship, an entanglement, even a relationship with someone who exhibits two or more or all of the signs of emotional unavailability, then I think you may need to re-evaluate your relationship with that person. At the end of the day, it's your job to take care of you, to guard your heart, protect your mental health, and make sure that you're okay. Don't keep, like I said earlier, casting your pearls, what is precious to you, before swine. Be very protective of your energy and of your emotional resources. So anyway, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends about the channel. I know sometimes people forget to subscribe, so I'm reminding you, please subscribe. Till the next time we meet somewhere on the internet. Musare Mnyasha.